Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
We've made it to Friday. Thank you so much for listening today to New Life Live. I'm your host, Brian Perez. Maybe you're watching us on YouTube. Hello to you guys as well. And we are here to talk to you about whatever it is you're going through, maybe anguish, maybe distress. Hey, Jesus went through anguish and distress too. And you can call us with those questions. We are here to answer them. We've got licensed professional clinical counselor Becky Brown here, as well as licensed marriage and family therapist Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris. How are you, Becky?
I'm doing well. Can't wait to help some people today.
That's right. And Jacqui, what's on your mind today as we start?
Today, what's on my mind is really how we are living our lives as believers and how we show up in the world. And I've just had some conversations of late that really made me kind of sink into Romans 12 and just sit with it. And so I just wanted to share. It says, "And so, dear brothers and sisters, I plead with you to give your bodies to God because of all he has done for you. Let them be a living sacrifice, a living and holy sacrifice, the kind he will find acceptable. This is truly the way to worship him. Don't copy the custom and the behaviors and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good, pleasing, and perfect." And what jumps out to me is, let God transform you. Let God transform you. And so often we as people are trying to transform other people, and that's not our role. And it doesn't help that person. And then you're in conflict because they won't change and you think that they should. So let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. If you can't change the way you think, it is really hard to change the way you feel. It's really hard to change the way you relate to other people. And my husband and I were having a conversation this morning, and one of the challenges is that a lot of times we're coming at things from a top-down perspective. I know it all already. And if you enter into an experience with a top-down perspective, you're going to miss some things because you won't be able to receive the stuff you don't understand, the stuff that is new. And we have to come like little children. I believe that that's what Jesus meant when he said that. We have to come with an open heart and open mind and humble to the point of ignorance. I know nothing. I have a doctorate degree, and I will say I know nothing because what I know, I only know in part. I only know as far as I've lived right now. And so I think sometimes our anxiety is coming from this place of we think that we know what everything is or how it's going to turn out. And we don't. Mm-hmm. And that gives us a lot of fear. And if you go to Romans 12 and just read the whole thing, it talks about how we should behave. It talks about what it means to really live our lives for Christ and live as a sacrifice. It talks about the fact that we're all different and God's given us different gifts and different talents. How are you using your gifts? Or are you sitting on your gift because you're spending so much time poking at somebody else and their gift? So just a reminder that our relationships are personal. Our relationships are unique, and our relationship with God, and that we need to leave people to their relationship and spend our time and energy working on changing our thinking so that we can become the new person God's wanting us to be. And then we learn. So I have to let God transform me, let him change my thinking, and then I will begin to learn. Mm-hmm. It's not the other way around. So
that's it. Thank you, Jacqui.
So often we don't use our gift. Like you said, we're looking at somebody else and say, you know what? If I had their gift, I could do it better. It's like, would you stop? Would you stop? Just no. Figure out what your gift is. Use it as unto the Lord. Go help other people. And that's what we're here to do. We help lots of people, and we're going to help more when we get to the phones right now. Tracy, you will be next here on New Life Live. Thank you so much for listening today. Thank you for calling in, and we sure do appreciate all you do for us, including praying for us and supporting us financially. We'll be back on New Life Live.
Early on, looking at pornography that went into affairs, massage parlors, strip clubs with buddies. Before you know it, you're ashamed of that.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity, impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography.
My wife got a phone call, and she asked me who this person was, and man, how do I get myself out of this one?
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
When she said to me, I want you to look at this website named Every Man's Battle, she had me look, and I said, no, this is exactly where I need to be. This is exactly the problems I have, and I'm gonna go.
You don't have to struggle any longer. Get help in Denver, Colorado, June 6th through the 8th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Use the discount code NLL to save $50. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Let's go right to the phones and talk to Tracy, who's listening in Detroit, Michigan on Sirius XM, Channel 131. Hi there, Tracy. Welcome to New Life Live.
Hello. I am enjoying the program, enjoying what Dr. Jacqui just mentioned about transforming our minds. I am so thankful. I mean, in what she was talking about, the anxiety, it was like I had been reluctant to call in, had to pray about what to say because I'm in a situation with my son. He's 40, he'll be 44 this year in August, and I had him at 16, just to give you a little history about me and him. I had him at 16, was young. I was kind of rejected from my parents because, they had good, things that they, goals for me or whatever. I had goals for myself, but my sister we went to this, supposed to went out to a party or something like that, but I was left in this home with this man. And this older man, like 10 years older than me. I was 15 at that time. And I do not know how I got into that room. I know my legs walked in there, but I was wanting to go home, like where's my sister at? She left me here. She hasn't came back. So I end up getting pregnant, but I thought it was another guy that I was dating at the time as a teenager or whatever. So come to find out, my son, the guy that got out of prison, he was in prison for like 40 years, and I thought that was his dad, and he did a DNA test on him. So he found out that he wasn't his dad. But the dad that I did find the dad, but the dad was passed away. So my son is like, really, like, he's been going through a lot. Always been a good kid, good guy, good man. And I've had a lot of trauma, too. I was raped at 12. It's like a lot of trauma, y'all. I'm not trying to be, like, dramatic or just, spilling all this negativity, but I just had to give you a history of what's going on because I've been traumatized, too.
Right.
And I had anxiety from 2010. I had anxiety real bad. Never had any behavioral health problems, but I know it's an attack of the enemy because the Lord said he did not give us a spirit of fear. This guy that had dated before, after my husband passed, I slept with this man. And I knew the word of God said, do not fornicate. But I'm thinking, maybe he's hooking us back up from, as a child or whatever.
Okay.
So the guy was dealing with black magic, okay?
Wow.
I had to fast. Remember how the Bible says only some things come by fasting and prayer. When the demoniac, they couldn't cast that demon out that young man, and Jesus said only some things come through fasting and prayer. I had to do a lot of fasting and prayer, and I'm telling you, I had anxiety. It wasn't the type that stop and go. It was like I had anxiety. I could not sleep for a whole year.
Wow. So how can we help you today? What is it that we can? You said you were reluctant to call, and you finally did.
And it's really with my son and I because he feels like I never loved him. What my husband was living, and he feels like don't nobody in the family support him. And I think I wasn't the best mother, but I'm trying to get our relationship back together. Yeah. By him losing his father, his father passed and he's not knowing
Tracy,
us. So I'm trying to get us together.
I have a question for you, Tracy. How often do you interact with your son? Like daily, weekly?
He just moved back with me like a baby maybe a month ago. And it's like, I'm trying to like really be there for him and support him. And I think I've supported him over the years too. But he looks at, because he's the only child. He's the one that's not by my husband. I have 4 other children. That's adults.
Well, the reason why I asked that, Tracy, is because there's a couple of things that are happening. Re-entry into a family system is one of those things. You know, he's 44, so he's been out on his own for years, right? And now he's coming back in. So some of the tension that you all are experiencing is just doing life together day to day. And sometimes that can get kind of mixed up with, you know, whatever story is in his head about his experience. I'm not invalidating it. It's just recognizing that you guys are going to have somebody help you unpack the story and to start where you are and go forward, Tracy, as opposed to you're carrying around a lot of that trauma still. I don't know if you've worked with a therapist to kind of get through some of that, but that would be an option for you.
Yeah, and Tracy, you're wanting to repair the relationship with your son, and I heard you say multiple times, I've had trauma too. I've had trauma too. I've had trauma too. So my guess is, and I could be wrong, but my guess is when he starts to get angry with you and tell you how hard everything was for him, your response is often, I have trauma too. Whether you say it out loud or whether you say it in your head. And that's preventing you from actually validating his experience, because then it makes it about you, not about him. And so if you want to repair the relationship, you have to be able to hear him tell you how awful it was. Even though you did your very best, you were the best mom you could be at the time, and that still left him hurt. And it's hard for us to accept that. I know for me, parenting my children is the best of my life. They have been a gift to me. They're so much fun as adults, but I loved being a mom. And I messed up. There are ways in which I hurt them. There are ways in which my husband and I disappointed them. And when we have conversations, and one day I asked, what was it like to have me as a mom? And you better be prepared when you ask that question. But then I just sat and held it and grieved it with them. I'm so sorry that was your experience. I wish I could have been more emotionally available. I'm so sorry that hurt you. I just apologize for it. It wasn't intentional. Yes, I had stuff going on. I have my own trauma. My husband was deployed all the time. But once they hear my validation, they can come around to the other side about what it was like for me. They know the story. They lived it with me, most of it, right? And so they have that awareness, but what they're asking for is for them to be seen. And he's a child outside of your marriage. All his siblings have a different dad. That's also a difficulty when you are a child that doesn't have the same parent as the other kids in the family. So that's something that nobody else understands that experience but him. And then on top of that, the person he thought was his dad was incarcerated for his whole life, only then to find out that wasn't his dad, and the man who was is now deceased. So he never gets to go back and have that relationship with somebody who is actually attached to him. And that's something he has to grieve, and he just needs a lot of room and space for that. So no corrections, but this is what else happened. Just listen and have an open heart for what he has experienced, and what you can apologize for. What you don't understand or don't believe, be curious about. And get into some good family therapy if he'll go. But if he won't go, you go and process the things that he then shares with you. And I think How We Love would be really helpful for you guys. And if you haven't done EMDR, if you're not doing trauma therapy, you probably should be. We get healthy in this generation, so we stop passing down generational trauma, and we can pass down generational wellness. So keep doing your work, and he will vicariously heal through that work, and that's healing for all the generations to come.
Yeah, Tracy, I want to make sure that you're not doing this on your own, too. Just like what Jacqui just said, you need a therapist. We'll get you connected, but I also want you to be in community. Like, are you part of a church? Are you doing, recovery groups, anything like that?
Yes, and I can say, yes, I am a part of church, and I can say the Lord has healed me from the anxiety. I don't have no anxiety. The Lord showed me what my root was, And
Amen.
I'm trying to work with him to let him know it's a root sign.
Yeah.
You know, and I do validate what he's saying. I always say, I'm sorry that you went through that. I'm sorry I wasn't there. You know,
Yeah.
and it's like we've been doing this for the last 5 years, and
Yeah.
it's like even people in my family, my brothers, and people that has done things to him, and to talk about it, and it comes back up. So I'm looking for the healing part. I don't want to keep going through this circle.
But keep going through the circle. His healing requires the circle. It's only been 5 years. He lived with this for 43. And this is a part of the story now. We don't get to take it away. Those things happened. And so they aren't going away. What we want is for people to shove it down and push it away and not think about it anymore. But that's emotional avoidance. This is uncomfortable.
Well, also,
Not that I'm saying I want to deal with it. It's just I want to get something done. It's like, that's what I'm saying.
It might not
Right,
be
but
anything you can get done about it, though.
right. And but Tracy, here's the thing. Every time he says that hooks into that, I want to get something done. You want to see him succeed this. And so, but his timing is not your timing.
Right.
And I want to just reframe this for you. Think of it this way. Every time he tells you again, that's part of his getting things done. That's not your time, but that is his. And so I want you to be able to welcome that, not get, just frustrated with, aren't we getting somewhere yet? Every time he gets to tell you, and I would also invite him into counseling, all of those things are very much a part of his work. But just recognizing that your timing is not his timing, it's not God's timing for him at this point, and allow God to speak to you in those moments to be able to hear it and not get frustrated. And we'll be praying for you, Tracy.
And
Yes.
I think, Tracy, it's also important for you to know that experience you had with that dark spiritual experience you had may not be the same as his experience. What he is experiencing isn't because he had an encounter with the demonic and got left with this spirit. What he's encountering is his life, right? Like these are things that happen in his life. So it's not the same. Yes, there's a root. The root is trauma. Right. The root is the fact that he didn't have a father and his siblings did. And so you can't hold him to your experience. And so I agree with Becky. Every time he brings it up, that is him working on it. That's him acknowledging his pain and sharing it with another person. And that's how we do grief work.
That's right.
Tracy, thanks for calling in today. We're going to send you a copy of How We Love from the newlife.com store. And now let's talk to Jacqui in Memphis, Tennessee, who has a question for our Jacqui Mack-Harris, about something that Jacqui from Tennessee heard Jacqui in the studio mention last time Jacqui Mack-Harris was here. Jacqui, what's your question? I'm getting confused here. So,
Hi, Jacqui.
Hi, Jacqui. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am doing well, and I'm doing extra well now after listening to you guys. I listen to you every day. You guys are great. I love you guys, praying for you daily.
Thank you.
I just was wanting you to touch on that conservatorship that you had mentioned to the caller that called earlier, and she said her sister with bipolar issue and schizophrenia. I have a situation in my family like that. And I've been dealing with this guy, this young guy, for years and years, very close to me. And I called you guys back a while back, and you all told me it was a situation where I had to kind of like stop being an enabler. So you guys sent me the books, and I've been reading, and it helped. It actually helped. So I kind of backed off, and it's been working for me. I feel 100% better.
Amen.
Yeah, he's still out there. He's not changed any, and he's not wanting to change. He's told me he's not going to change, but I can't do it any longer.
Yeah.
So that conservatorship, because I'm concerned about this young man, because the fact that he's both has the bipolar and schizophrenia, and he's on drugs.
Yeah. Well, there in Tennessee, in Memphis, where you are, public guardianship is managed by Shelby County. And so if you go to the website, the Shelby County, it's shelbycountyytennessee.gov, and look up public guardianship.
Public guardianship. Okay, gotcha.
Yep, and it will show you what's available and how you go about getting it started. Again, he's going to have to come into contact with them in some way. So you might be able to get that process started, but unless he gets picked up for something or chooses to go in, or ends up, in a hospital or something, God forbid, he may not, they might not be able to get to him to help him. But if you get the process started and get that information and any of those things happen, then that ball is already rolling for him.
Thank you so much, because he's in and out of the hospital every weekend.
Yeah.
Or every 3 days. I get the phone calls because he uses my phone number. He don't have a phone. So every time he goes in, I get the text. So, I need to do it. He's in the hospital.
Yeah, go ahead and do it. And then when he's in the hospital, they'll be able to actually find him in the system and get that going. And if he's in the hospital, then go down to the county office and find out what's the process. What are your steps?
Very good. Thanks for calling Jacqui today. Jacqui from Memphis, Tennessee. And we're going to take more of your calls. We've got Donna and Nicole coming up here on New Life Live. Thanks so much for listening today, and thanks for watching us as well.
I was stuck. I was so stuck. 27 years married. My husband addicted to pornography for the majority of our marriage. I was very isolated and didn't really know which way to turn.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or a physical affair, or pornography, Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
When two people want to do their part, we can be restored. But if they don't, we can still be restored. We are not stuck because someone else made a decision. That God lets us weigh in on how we want to walk out our life. Our wellness does not hinge on another person's decision.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Washington, D.C. November 7th to the 9th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
You guys helped me figure out what was going on.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
And here at New Life Ministries, we are in the middle of a matching gift right now, a $500,000 matching gift. If you've already given, thank you. It's been matched, but we still have a little bit more to go, don't we, Becky Brown?
Yeah, just a little bit. And I want to encourage you, if you haven't given and you thought, I'll give someday, today's the day. Mm-hmm. And you can give through lots of different ways. You can text the word match to 28950. You can call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Or you can go to newlife.com and there's a little tag there that says donate to the match. Your gifts make a difference in the lives of so many people. We just heard, from Jacqui, who listens every day, and what she hears helps her. But also just the people that we've encountered over these 30 years. And then you think about the changes in their family, which changes their community, which ultimately changes the world. And we are so grateful that God uses us in all of these different ways. I just want you to be part of that difference so you can give today to that match. Makes a difference.
I love what you just said, Becky, because so many people, Christians especially, want to change the world, right? It can change one person at a time. That's how it works. And we can help do that here at New Life.
Yes.
So text the word match to 28950. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com. Donna in Boise, Idaho. Thank you for calling us today on New Life Live. KBXL are the call letters of that radio station there. Welcome. How can we help you?
Yes, my question is about polygraph tests. to determine whether everything that needs to be disclosed after pornographic usage over decades has been actually conquered. My spouse went through EMB 6 years ago and had several incidences in the last 6 years where he did, after being confronted, confess that he had looked at porn again. Now he claims he hasn't ever looked at porn for several years, just he has thoughts, which I kind of don't buy. But the question that I have is, have you had experiences with where a couple has disclosed supposedly everything, but yet it didn't add up, and you suggested a polygraph?
Yes. Donna, is he involved with any other support besides just going to the workshop?
No, he
Okay.
he did the telephone call once a week for
Right.
about a year. But then he stopped doing that, and I've asked him to get a support person, accountability person, for years, but he won't do it.
Right. So here's the thing, Donna. Yes, we do recommend people get full therapeutic disclosure, and a full therapeutic disclosure looks like a support person for you, counselor who's trained in this, a person for him, a counselor who's trained in that. You process through that disclosure, and then together, all of you get together and work through it, because you're going to need the support, Donna, as you hear these things. Now, what I'm hearing, though, is your husband's really not in his own work. And this isn't a shame thing. This is understanding the power of addiction. I was just saying to Jacqui and Brian at the break about a book I'm reading right now, talking about, for so many people, the addiction is the solution. Now, that sounds kind of shocking, but whatever the pain is that's driving someone to use pornography as a fix, as a solution, that's where the work is. It's not as much as tell me every time you've looked at porn. It's really what's going on inside of me. And without a structured process, he's not going to get to that place. And Donna, you need it as well. I just went to Restore 2 weekends ago. We had our Restore intensive. And so many women carry the burden of trying to get their husbands to do the work, when in actuality, Donna, you have to have that support for yourself. And so I think the question is, yes, people do full therapeutic disclosures. Yes, some people do use a polygraph. But the bigger picture is the work of healing, not only for your husband, for the two of you as a couple. And I don't know if that helps or if that's frustrating for you.
No, I know I need it.
And Donna, I am listening to what Becky said, and I just want to reiterate it, or maybe say it in another way. What is behind his using porn is the actual thing for you to be asking questions about.
Right.
The porn, the porn is how he's soothing himself. So that is, that's an after the problem type thing. There is something going on for him, whether it is he's avoiding emotion, he's got a trauma, he feels disconnected in the relationship, whatever it is. That's the thing to be more curious about, rather than did he look at porn. And I know that that's an issue and it needs to be addressed, so I'm not minimizing that. But the problem is still the problem. Mm-hmm. And it is not the porn.
Yeah.
I have one more thing to say, Brian.
Sure.
Okay, we're coming up to our break, though. So, Becky, we'll hear what you have to say. But, Donna, really quick, what did you want to add?
Nothing. That's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. We'll take our break then, and then we'll come back. We'll hear what else Becky wants to add, and we'll also talk to Nicole and everyone else here on New Life Live. Thanks so much for joining us today for the program. Remember, we archive all of our episodes online too.
We've been married 33 years. We attended the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop. Even though we've read books or attended a few other marriage weekends, this was certainly different and a lot more intensive than initially that we thought.
When you come to Intimacy and Marriage, you're going to be immersed into a 3-day process.
Was not really sure exactly what to expect, but the idea of learning to really understand intimacy was intriguing. We had been in the same patterns of struggle over and over again.
If you've thought, I don't think we can ever change, we're just in this rut and we can't get out, the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop can help you get out of the rut.
The Intimacy and Marriage Weekend is July 25th to the 27th in Washington, D.C. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50. 1-800-639-5433.
I would highly recommend it.
Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
You know, I'm so thankful because, you know why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And you know one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch, listening to all this great information and not paying, so my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Nicole is coming right up, but first let's finish our conversation with Donna. Are you still with us, Donna?
Yes.
Thanks for holding through the break. So, Becky, what did you want to ask Donna?
Yeah, so Donna, this is a group project. And what I mean by that, this is where you and your husband learn new ways to connect with one another, to deal with not only this issue, because this issue is a symptom of a deeper problem, like Jacqui and I both were saying. But you cannot do this on your own, and it's, but it is overcomable, if that's a word I can use. You know, we help couples all the time understand that these things that are problematic in a relationship are indicators that there is something deeper. And you had mentioned briefly about the pictures in his head. He is talking about it's hard for him to get the pictures out of his head. Is that what you said?
Well, yeah, that's what he says he only struggles with now. He doesn't look at it like on his phone or anything. It's the pictures in his head.
Right.
But he started.
Right. It is a very.
Go
ahead,
he
Becky.
started with pornography. Yeah, he started with pornography when he was 10.
Yes, he
Right.
got a lot of,
It's a very common thing.
66 years old.
When did you find out about it, Donna?
I found out about it probably within 5, 6, 7 years into our marriage. We've been married 34 years.
Donna,
and I confronted.
Donna,
Yeah.
you were talking about the pictures in his head, and it made me think about your thought life and how the thinking about whether or not he's being honest, the thinking about whether or not he's looking at porn, the thinking about whether or not he's got those images flying through his mind might impact you. And so, you know, when Becky said it's a group project, you being in your own work, you going to restore, him going to EMB again, you all having a couples therapist, having him going to Sustain Healing, like getting you guys in a program of recovery, but not necessarily just focused on the porn. there needs to be recovery for this marriage, because the porn is his answer to something. And so he needs some help figuring out, how do I connect with my wife in a way that feels healthy, that works for me, that is satisfying for both of us. There is something in the marriage. And so I say couples therapy, and I think it would be really helpful if you both read How We Love, and even went through the workbook together. I don't know if that's something he would do, but I would, yes, encourage him to go to EMB, but for you, he needs to do his work on the porn. For you, I would encourage you to worry less about that and see if you can't make some inroads in the emotional connection, the emotional intimacy in the relationship, because the porn is an answer to the lack of that for him, most likely. And I don't think that that's something that is easily fixed on your own. So definitely get a team.
And one of the things we learned at Restore is just what you're talking about, Jacqui, is what is impacting us as a female in this type of relationship. You know, Donna, it had to be shocking when you found out about it that far into your marriage, your 34-year marriage, and now you've been the secret keeper for all of these years because you feel the shame of what he is doing to cope with whatever the pain is that he has. That's, you know, and we know, because we've helped so many men for so many years, uncover where that started. And it is very common and now with the internet, we see the statistics as young as 7 and 8 year olds being exposed to pornography. And so we want to get you help. We'll get you connected with a therapist as well, but this is fixable. We just have to have a different plan than what's been in place up to this point.
All right, Donna, so stay on the line and we'll get you a copy of How We Love. And all these intensives that we're talking about, they're all coming up later this year. In fact, the Every Man's Battle Intensive is happening in Denver, Colorado, the weekend of June 6th. And today, May 23rd, is the last day to register for that to get a discount. So hope you can take advantage of that today. And then there's the Restore Healing After Betrayal Intensive. That's happening the weekend of November 7th in Washington, D.C. You can get all the details on our website, newlife.com, or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Here is Nicole, who is listening to us in Sarasota, Florida, on Sirius XM, channel 131. Hi there, Nicole. Welcome to New Life Live.
Hi there, thanks. I'm calling because I heard a call similar to my situation a few days ago, and her calling in kind of inspired me to go ahead and make the call. In December of 2023, I had a suicide attempt. I was Baker acted for 5 days, and it was it was a blessing. I was put on depression medication and anti-anxiety medication, and I never felt like I really figured out what was at the base of everything until this past Mother's Day. And I had a complete meltdown on Mother's Day because...
Nicole?
Are you still there, Nicole? We understand it's not easy to call in. Maybe you're having trouble getting the words out.
I think actually we had more of a technical issue.
I'm here.
Oh,
There
okay.
you are.
There you are.
There you are.
Yep.
Nicole, can you paint us a picture of what your meltdown looked like?
Riding up to Mother's Day, I was really avoiding it. My mom died a few years ago, and my daughter has a child now. I have twins. They were adopted when they were infants, and one of my twins has a child now. And I have a terrible relationship with her, and honestly, it feels like she's resented me since she was an infant. It's the most bizarre thing. I know they always say it's not nature, it's nurture, but she is completely opposite of what her nurturing was, and has gone completely opposite. And so this Mother's Day, I just decided I can't handle I can't interact with her anymore because she is deliberately, I'm telling you, it's like she's resented me since she was an infant, and they knew they were adopted. It was an open adoption. My other daughter has special needs, so she's always the light of my life and very close. Talk to her daily. But the other one, my meltdown was just, I don't have a mother, and my other daughter doesn't want me really involved in her life much. Everything I say, everything I do is the opposite of what she wants, and she'll only contact me if she needs something. And I remember your other caller said that the children she adopted, or the one, only called her when she needs something. So she was also the cause of my anxiety, my one daughter, and which led to the depression, which led to the suicide attempt. So I'm just wondering.
So when you said you melted down, was it the crying? Did you have an argument with someone? So you melted down and started crying, and now you're feeling guilty?
Yes.
About the meltdown, or guilty about life?
Of not being able to have a relationship with her. With my child.
Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, I would have made different decisions in my life had I known that she was going to reject me. Maybe I would have had more kids.
Yeah.
You know,
Nicole,
I don't know what to do with that. Yes.
I want you to practice what Jacqui and I talked about on an earlier show. I want you to take a big deep breath in. Just 4 seconds in, hold it for a minute. Or not a minute, just hold it for 4 seconds, and then exhale, and then just exhale. And laughter is good too. The reason why I do that is because you're flooded right now with this disappointment and the disconnection, and it's understandable. It's your intention was to raise children who you could have an ongoing relationship with, and I wish I could say that is what happens all the time. More often we hear about estrangement within families, and what I'm really concerned about is the triggering that is happening with this particular daughter. And my one question is, do you have a counselor that you're working with through this? I know you'd had the suicide attempt and had some medication, but what has been your process of support since then?
I did go to counseling for a while, but I never identified this as my reason. So I need a new counselor, I think.
Okay, well, hold on. We're going to take a break, but we're going to come back to you. Right, Brian?
Yes. Yes, we are. And we're also going to put you in touch with a counselor, but don't hang up yet. We'll talk to you. We'll send you a resource from the newlife.com store. Thank you so much for calling in today. And Nicole, I love what you said. I mean, not that I love what you said, but I mean, you heard somebody else's call, and that's what prompted you to call in. And that's why no matter what it is you're going through, we welcome you to call in with your questions, because then it can prompt somebody else to call in with what they're going through. And we're here to help here at New Life Live. We'll be right back.
Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learn a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource, or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His
is.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And back to Nicole in Sarasota, Florida. You still with us, Nicole?
Yes. Yes, thank you.
Hey, Nicole, I was thinking about your experience of adoption. And you got a good attachment with the special needs daughter. But oftentimes when there is a special needs child in the family, other children may feel missed and not seen. And on top of that, you have a child who it doesn't seem like she ever connected with you, even from infancy. And there is a thing called reactive attachment disorder that I've seen most often in adoptions. And so it's possible that this isn't about you and her not liking you. It's about her ability to attach because of the disruption in her life from the detachment from her birth mom. Some children really have a hard time adjusting after that, and they just decide they won't attach. And it's a safety mechanism, but it can be worked through. But the first part is for you to get into some counseling and you to do some work to understand you and your attachment style and how you're being triggered every time she rejects you. And that trigger maybe seems like you're not good enough. You're not a good enough mom. I don't love you. And
exactly.
And that is what's causing you all the pain. And it may not be true. It may be that she has a disorder and it has nothing to do with you. You could have been the best mom. And as I said to another caller not too long ago, I know loving my children and raising my children was my favorite thing. And still, there are things that I did or didn't do that hurt my children. And I have to hold space for that and let them share. It sounds like you've tried to do that and you just keep getting hurt over and over again. So getting into some counseling could really be helpful. And then we'll send you a book called How We Love. I think you working through How We Love could really help. If you understood attachment better, if you understood your own attachment and how you relate to others and connect with others, I think you'll have a better understanding of what's going on between the two of you.
Okay, thank you. And you're absolutely right. There was poor attachment. Yes.
Well, and Nicole, I want you to be able to have a different story when you interact with her so that this will happen through counseling and understanding that attachment. But we talked to a caller earlier in the show today and talked about the fact that their response is we've got to disrupt this cycle that's happening so that you become the woman that you are totally, and not allow this daughter and whatever her issues are to change who you are. And, it just will take time.
Nicole, thanks for calling in today. We'll send you a copy of How We Love. I want to touch on something that Nicole mentioned. She said, and we often get a question similar to this, but Nicole said, had she known that one of her daughters would have had this relationship with her all these years later, she might have done something different. She may not have adopted. So we get... Or
she said she might have had more kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So people who are wondering, should we bring kids into this world the way the world is so messed up and everything? Should we bring more people into this world? We've heard that question before. But like what Nicole said right now, other people might be thinking, what if that happens to me? What if my kids wind up hating me, or they wind up in trouble with the law, or whatever the case might be? What hope can we offer to people who might be thinking that?
I wish people did pre-parenting therapy the way we encourage premarital therapy. Because it's a journey.
Is there such a thing?
Well, I've done that for adoptive parents.
Okay.
I've walked through the adoptive process from the beginning of paperwork, that years-long process, to the actual adoptive process. And I think that it can be helpful because we can start to work on some of their stuff. They can understand their histories, how their histories are impacting them, and do that work before they bring in these children who may have their own trauma and their own story and struggle. And so that they're not relying on the children to make them okay. And they know that they're there and they're going to be doing a lot of care for these children, and the children might not connect with them. And so we prepare them for those things. And we talk about ways in which we can manage if there is a reactive attachment disorder, or if there are some traumas that child has gone through, how can the parents stay connected? And same with special needs children. We can do work to help parents be prepared for that. I work now closely with doulas because maternal infant health is a challenge. And so I've been working with a group called Melanated Moms Matter in the Inland Empire. And so there are doulas that can come alongside birthing women and help them get the experience that they want. And so I recommend doulas. I have a couple of doulas that I work with, a few, actually I have 3 in my life now. And those women go to the person, to the home of that new mom or mom to be. They walk alongside of them throughout the pregnancy. They can go to appointments with them. They can be in the delivery room or not. They can do whatever they need. They can come over after baby's born and hold the baby while mom sleeps. It's just so helpful to have this other person. And so I recommend a team. And I think a lot of people opt out of parenthood because it is hard, and we don't have the built-in villages that we used to have, where you have mom and grandma and aunties, and there were lots of people around. So we have to make that for ourselves. And we've created a system at the Bridge to do that because I know that I needed the village.
We certainly do need villages for sure. In case you were wondering, the village I'm in right now had a fire alarm going off, but everybody's safe. But sometimes even in our parenting experience, we're shocked. We're shocked by what our children bring out in us. And so when Nicole is expressing this heartbreak, I've also sat with parents of adult kids who have rejected them for minor things, and the shock and the disbelief of the heartbreak. You have years and years where you have a good relationship, and then all of a sudden you're cut off for whatever reason. And how do we make sense of this? And it is through the village. It is through the connection. It is through having other people carry this burden with you and holding on to hope that something will change for the better. But man, you have to work through that anger. You have to work through the shock. You have to work through the frustration of not being seen and heard as an individual. And in parenting, you get to that place where we're not parents anymore. We are adults. We're adults having a relationship with adults, and you don't get along with everybody, even if you brought them into the world. And so how do we make this work in the way that it can bring joy to us and encouragement? It's a lost art for a lot of folks, but I just love that we have the ability to learn new things. I think just your observation, Jacqui, of this child may have reactive attachment disorder, and Nicole had no idea. And now this may be a new way to figure this out. And everything is figure-outable.
Everything is figure-outable. And I was just thinking about what you were saying about, we don't like everyone. And sometimes parents try to guide their children into being a particular person, and the reality of who they are becoming doesn't align with who you are. And I've seen the estrangement occur because the child is determined to be who they want to be, and the parent is resistant to that, and maybe puts them down for those choices, and that can create some distance because that child just wants to be seen for who they are. But you can't condone who they are. And so you have to make some decisions and set some boundaries. And I like that you said that. I think we have to realize we don't like everyone. And so maybe you don't spend as much time with them as you thought you would. Maybe it's not fun to travel with them the way it is for me to travel with my kids. But that's okay, as long as you guys can figure out a way to keep peace.
We learn something new every day here at New Life. Thank you so much for listening and for watching. Don't forget liferecoverygroups.com. There are articles, resources, and ways to join or start a group, interviews with group leaders, and more.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.